raise of hands. Does anyone like to cook? Yeah, nice. And when you cook, do you prepare big, delicious meals every night? Are you peeling and chopping and doing all that stuff every night to have a big meal? No. And sometimes we might be too tired or we just don't feel like it. You might have had a long day at work. And so this is where Thrive will help make your life better. And we'll show you 5 reasons why. Throughout this presentation, we will give you some direction as we cook with the food and give you some tips of best ways to use the food and all about Thrive. So today we're going to get started and we will turn the time over to Karen. She will start us off.
Hello, everyone. My name is Karen. Today I am going to show you how to make a blueberry pancake, blueberry banana pancake in a mug. So a one-person meal, super easy, super quick. Nice thing about this is the way that I'm going to make this, I am not needing to worry about bananas going bad because they often just go brown as soon as I bring them home. I don't have to worry about the blueberries going moldy in the fridge. And I don't have to worry about the milk going bad or those extra trips to the grocery store to get milk when it runs out and buy all this extra stuff I don't actually need. So this is going to be simple, something you can do in your home at any time. So to start with, I am going to use some bananas to show you what those look like in the freeze-dried form. And I just snap them. They just snap really nice. And I just broke them into a whole bunch of little pieces. Now, you can add a little water first if you want, just to help moisten it up a little bit, but you don't have to. And let me just push my camera down and I will show you the whole recipe. Just a sec there. All right. Can you see okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have my bananas. I'm just going to, oh, first I need to actually grease my mug. So you can use cooking spray or you can use some cooking oil. I have some olive oil here. And I just actually want to go up all along the sides because it's going to get pretty tall. So I'm going to put some bananas in. Oh, get a little. And I'm going to put some blueberries in. And I'm also going to put 2 tablespoons of instant milk powder and put that in. A 1/3 cup of water. And then mix that up a little bit. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm also going to put in a little dash of cinnamon. That always is really nice on your pancakes. And then I have a 1/4 cup of pancake mix here. So this is the pancake mix that normally you just add water to. But if you add milk powder to it, it actually becomes a lot more, excuse me, a lot more fluffy and creamier, has a better texture. The nutrients are a little better, more protein, more calcium. Put a little bit more batter in there. You want a nice consistency. I think I put in a little too much water, but that's okay. Just keep adding a little bit more of the pancake mix. There we go. And then I just put it in the microwave for about 2 minutes. And then I just pour some syrup on it and it'll be ready to go. So I'm just going to pop that in the microwave. And that is super simple. So you can even mix this up and have strawberries and banana. You could have banana and chocolate chip. You could have peaches, and you could have a lot of different types. I also made it into a little meal in a jar. So I could just easily just put the water in here, mix it up, and put it in the microwave. So this is just going to take just a moment to cook in the microwave, but it's just a really nice way to have this food. I'm just going to show you up close more what the blueberries look like. So you can just eat these dry, or you can refresh them. They're really great. The milk powder over here. So this is instant milk powder. It's a little different than a lot of milk powders you might see in the grocery store. There's more nutrients in this. It's really tasty to just drink, put on your cereal. You can use it for baking, but it's just a really good tasting milk that will last a very long time. A really good staple to stock up in your food storage. All right, so I can smell that. It's getting pretty strong. I also just wanted to mention adding the milk to it, because like the pancake mix I used was this one from Costco. But adding a little bit of extra milk, it also adds more flavor. It balances the flavor between the sweetness of the fruits and really just complements it. I did a comparison between making it with the instant milk and without, and there's a huge difference in volume and fluffiness. All right, let's see if this is ready here. Oh, this looks perfect. And it steamed up my glasses. Woo! Okay. I don't know if you can see how much it rose to here. Bring the camera down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to pour some syrup on it. Okay, so I'm just going to dig into this for you, show you what it's like. So, just nice and fluffy, and well, this is really hot, but it's really good and super easy. Really nice to customize. If all your kids like pancakes a little bit different, they can have fun making their own version and enjoy a nice breakfast or a snack. So that's my, excuse me, that's my blueberry banana pancake in a mug. So I hope you enjoy it.
I love that, Karen. I loved how fast you had that put together in no time. So convenient. Within a couple of minutes. The longest was the cooking time. So thank you for sharing that with us. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Next, we're going to turn the time over to Jara and Rob.
Hey everybody. Today I'm gonna do a meal in a jar. I love meals in a jar. It's one of my most favorite things. It's actually kind of what made me have that light bulb moment with freeze-dried food years ago when I discovered, like, I finally realized like why I needed to have this food in my life. And I was originally drawn to meals in a jar, I think, for the convenience, even though we had always been interested in preparedness. And then once I started making them and realized how good they would be for having food on hand for emergencies. I think for a lot of people it's the opposite. A lot of people start making them for because they want to have easy meals on hand for emergencies. And then they realize how convenient they are for those nights when you just don't have time to cook anything else. And I was kind of the opposite. But I love meals in a jar. I mean, if you have, like, if the power's out or something like that, you don't want to open your fridge. You don't want to let that cold air out. So you need something, and you don't want to dig around in the dark looking for all the different ingredients. So you've got everything you need in one jar. You just add water, really quickly make a meal. So the meal in a jar I'm making today is a sausage fried rice, because I looked at the sale flyer. I saw that we had sausage on sale, we had rice, and this is a dish that's near and dear to Rob's heart. So I'm going to let him tell you about this dish a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because sausage fried rice, when I was a little kid, as far back as I can remember, it was like the only thing that I wanted to eat. And my Grammy would make it for me, every time I asked for it. I was one of those kids. Um, but you know, now that I'm all grown up, like I don't know, a few years ago, I think I had this idea. I thought I would try to make it myself. I would do like she did, and I would make it. And the kitchen is not my happy place. I don't enjoy it. I don't like cooking, but I did it, and it came out okay. But I didn't enjoy the process. It wasn't worth it to me, and I never made it again. So when she talked about doing that, I was excited about a meal in a jar because I can do that. Like I can actually make meals in a jar. I can dump it in the pot and add water, and we did it, and it tastes exactly like what my Grammy used to make, and it literally does. So and well, and to know that we can have that on the shelf for emergencies, like that's even better.
And that's another great thing I love about meals in a jar is being able to make like your favorite comfort meals that you love and then have them like in a super quick and easy meal. So as usual, we record our cooking part ahead of time because many reasons, among them being our 6 dogs who think that Zoom time is a great time to start howling. So we have to hide up in a bedroom when we do a Zoom. So we're gonna play the video right now. Oh, we guess we need to be turned on to share.
I just made you host. So
Okay, yeah, got it. So we're gonna share the cooking part. Can everybody see that?
So here I've got all my ingredients for my sausage fried rice. So I've got some instant white rice, which of course is on sale this month, and then I've got some veggies. So I've got peas and mushrooms right here. You can use whatever veggies you like or whatever veggies you have on hand or whatever happens to be on sale. I'm using mushrooms because they are on sale this month, and I'm also using some of the chopped onion because that's on sale, and I've also got some dehydrated carrots here. And then of course I've also got my sausage. Now this, honestly, this is freeze-dried sausage. This is one of my favorite items. It is so delicious. It's actually one of my favorite things to snack on dry. You can even make a snack mix out of it with like some freeze-dried shredded cheese and some nuts and make a low-carb snack mix. This is just delicious. Next, I've got some seasonings. So here I've got half a tablespoon of freeze-dried minced garlic, and I've got a half a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. Now remember, half a tablespoon is the same as a teaspoon and a half. And then I've got a teaspoon of just plain white sugar over here. Moving on over here, I have some soy sauce powder. So this is something that I order from Firehouse Flavors, a website called Firehouse Flavors. I believe they also have it on Amazon. Of course, if you don't have any of this and you don't want to get any, you could just leave it out and then add liquid soy sauce to taste when you prepare the recipe. I personally like to have everything in the jar so that all I have to add is water. I don't like to have to add anything when the time comes. And then over here I've got some of Thrive Life's scrambled egg powder. So this is another one of our favorite products. This mixes with water and makes perfect scrambled eggs. So that's going to allow us to have those scrambled egg pieces in our fried rice. And then over here I've got my last final secret ingredient. So this is a sesame oil packet. It's all sealed up in a packet. I got this on Amazon as well. This is going to allow me to have a little bit of oil to saute my scrambled egg, and then I'm going to add the rest at the end to finish it because sesame oil just adds a really authentic flavor to a lot of Asian type of dishes that isn't available in a powdered form that I've ever found. So I like to use this, but if you don't have these, you could leave this out and either use a bottle of sesame oil or just use some other oil that you have and then don't add it to finish. And of course, for equipment and supplies, all we really need is a wide mouth quart mason jar. I've got a canning funnel here to get everything in the jar easily. I've got a sealing lid. And then if you want to put this away for the long term, you're going to want to use oxygen absorbers or vacuum seal it. I prefer oxygen absorbers. These are 200 cc. This is what I use in a quart jar. I would say if you're putting it away for longer than a few months, you would want to use something to seal it up. Although I will tell you, I've had some of these meals on my shelf sometimes for over a year without any oxygen absorber or vacuum sealing, and they're still fine. But I don't necessarily recommend that. I'm going to start by putting my sausage in the jar. Now this is 3/4 of a cup of sausage. Next I'm going to add my peas. It's 1/3 of a cup of peas. And then my mushrooms, it's also 1/3 of a cup of mushrooms. And now I'm going to put some seasonings and powdered ingredients. I don't put those on the bottom because this way they'll filter down in the spaces between these bulkier ingredients, and it's going to give us more space in the jar or allow us to put more in the jar. So here's my bouillon, sugar, and garlic. And then I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of soy sauce powder. We will have recipes available for these things after the show, so just reach out to the person who invited you and they will get you a written recipe if you don't want to write all this down. You can give these a little bit of a shake if you need to and jiggle. That settles all of the powders and smaller ingredients. I'm now going to add my 1/4 cup of freeze-dried chopped onion. And I'm going to add my 1/8 of a cup or 2 tablespoons of the dehydrated carrot. And now I'm going to add my instant rice. So this is 1 cup here. And I've got another 1/2 of a cup, so 1.5 cups. Now definitely want to give this a shake and a jiggle to get this settled down so we have room for our scrambled egg mix, because that's all that we have left, the scrambled egg mix and the sesame oil packet. All right, so for my scrambled egg, I've got a baggie here. This is the type of fold top sandwich baggie, so it doesn't have a zipper. There's a couple of reasons for that. I'm going to put my egg in this. This is 1/4 cup of the scrambled egg mix. The reason I use this type of baggie if I have to add an ingredient that's separate from the others is twofold. Number one, without the zipper portion, it just collapses better and fits better. But number two, I don't want it completely sealed up because when I put my oxygen absorber in, I want that to be able to react with any oxygen that's inside of this bag as well. I don't want it to be all sealed up. And then I am just going to add my sesame oil packet on the top. This is where you would add the oxygen absorber if you were going to be putting this away. I'm going to cook this up right now so you can see how it turns out. So I am just going to add my lid. And here is the sausage fried rice meal in a jar. It's ready to go on the shelf. Of course, you want to label this with what the contents are and the amount of water you need and the cooking instructions so that when the time comes to use this meal, you wouldn't have to hunt around for that information. All right, to make this up into the meal, I'm going to start by fixing up these scrambled eggs. So I'm going to take out this sesame oil packet and set it aside. And I'm going to get out the baggie with the scrambled egg mix. I've got a bowl here that I'm going to put this in. Now, honestly, if you were in an emergency situation and you were fixing this meal and you didn't have running water or electricity to heat your water, or you didn't want to have a lot of dishes for whatever reason, you could really just put the water into this baggie and massage it with your fingers to mix it, and as long as it didn't have a leak, it would work just fine. All right, so this is 1/4 cup of the egg mix, and then every 2 tablespoons is 1 egg, and you mix that with 3 tablespoons of water. So I'm going to be putting 6 tablespoons of water. So this is cold water. This is a 2 tablespoon scoop. So I'm going to do this 3 times. And just get this mixed up. And then it's going to behave just like fresh scrambled eggs. So all that this is eggs. They've just been freeze-dried and powdered up. All right, I'm going to fix this up on my butane stove. Now let's just get one thing out of the way first, and that's the fact that this fried rice is obviously not actually fried, because it's going to be cooked in a pot with the water. Now, if you wanted, you could certainly take all those ingredients separately. You could cook the rice, you could refresh the vegetables, and you could fry this rice. But to me, that defeats the purpose of having a convenience meal. I want it to be quick and simple. And this is going to have the flavors of fried rice just the same. And I'm going to use a fry pan to cook it to make myself feel a little bit better. So I'm going to start by heating the pan and adding a little bit of the sesame oil, and I'm going to save the rest. And once this gets pretty hot, I'm going to go ahead and put in my scrambled eggs. And just start to scramble these up like cooking normal eggs. Just want little bits of scrambled egg. I'm going to turn the heat off now because this is just about done. I don't want to overdo it. Now you could actually leave these bits of scrambled eggs right in here and just cook them with the rest of the rice. I have done that before, but I'm just going to remove them from the pan and cook the rice separately and then just add them back in this time. But look at how beautiful that scrambled egg is. These eggs are delicious. Most people can't even tell the difference. I can't tell the difference between these and fresh eggs. So now I'm just going to add the rest of the contents of my jar into the pan. And I'm going to add 2.5 cups of water to this. So I've got 2.5 cups of water. I'm going to go ahead and pour it into my jar first because there's a little bit of powders left inside the jar, and I want to make sure that I get all of that out so that we're not wasting anything. If you were in an emergency and you didn't want to waste any extra dishes or you didn't have a measuring cup, keep in mind that your jar is going to have measurements on it as well. I'm just going to stir this all together. Now that that's all moistened and blended, I'm going to add my lid and I'm going to apply the heat on high, and I'm just going to bring it up to the beginning of a boil. All right, you can see this just beginning to come up to a simmer. I'm going to give it a stir one more time. Now I'm going to turn the heat down and allow this to just simmer for about 5 minutes. And at that point, I'm just going to turn off the heat and let it sit for about 10 more, and it's going to be ready to go. And that's one thing that makes this really great for emergencies. You're not going to waste a lot of fuel. In fact, if you were really short on fuel, you could just bring it up to the initial boil and then just turn it right off and let it sit a little bit longer, and it would finish up. And you even could cold soak this recipe if you needed to. That would take longer, but you could cold soak it and eat it cold if you were really desperate. All right, so this has been simmering for 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat. I'm going to give it another stir, and then I'm just going to let it set for about 10 more minutes until all the liquid's absorbed and everything is tender. All right, so it's been 10 minutes, and you can see that all the moisture is absorbed. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to stir back in these scrambled eggs. See, they're going to look a little bit better because I left them out during the cooking. Otherwise, they'd be all brown from the soy sauce. So there's our egg, and we're going to put in the rest of the sesame oil and just toss that through. That smells so good. That makes all the difference right there. And there's our fried or unfried rice ready to serve.
So that was the recipe. Yeah, and meals in a jar, I love them. You could make them up in bulk. You can make, line up your jars, just make up a whole bunch, something like that. You can do any kind of, so many different variations. You could put, like, pulled pork's on sale right now. You could do a pork fried rice. You could put in chicken, like anything. Change up the vegetables. You can make a lot of different variations. That one's very easy to do. So
I love that. That's so good. I want to make that. And I never knew that you could have powdered soy sauce. Like, that's cool, but I guess they powder everything now. So I love that you do the meals in a jar, because that just gives you peace of mind, having that you can turn to, that your family likes, that you guys enjoy eating, and it's everyday food anyway. So it's not just an emergency food. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. We will change things up a little bit. We have a testimonial that's coming next. We are going to hear from Colleen Martines, and then after her, we're going to have Cindy Selsley do some cooking for us.
All right, can you hear me? Awesome. I want to share all the things that I love about Thrive, but it's probably going to be too long. So I'm going to try to limit it to just a few things that I love about Thrive. So I've been a part of Thrive for just past 5 years, and I've loved learning all about it. And I love the things that it can do for me, but I also love the things it can do for my family. And I love the things that have been shared, like prepping. I totally jive with that. I love to be able to do meals in a jar. But then I also am just things that we may not realize, it's just the nutrition value and the quality of food that Thrive gives. So I love that I have this little handout that talks about that it works with farmers. Thrive Company works with farmers that actually do quality food. And really, they partner with special farmers. So I just feel like that is giving me the better quality food that I can give to my family. And just the process of it, that they actually ask their farmers to be able to harvest the food when it's actually at its peak of nutrition, not before, like a lot of our stores do and the grocery industry does, and not after. It's at the peak. So I just feel like I'm getting the most dense nutrition food that's good for me and good for my family. And I love the process of it. I'm just so grateful for Thrive for that. That's just to me so important to know that I'm actually feeding my family and enjoying the food that's actually really high quality and good nutrition for my family. So one of the things that I like is just that also that it's just so light. Like it's just so light to take anywhere camping. It's like to store. It's like to store in my storage. I just feel like everything is not too heavy. Like a lot of things when I'm going shopping or something, if I'm getting canned peaches, they're heavy, right? So it's easy to store. It's easy to handle. It's easy to have the kids go get something. I'm like, hey, go get me some peaches. Go get me the apples. It's easy for them to go get for me, and it's not heavy. Another thing is just that we love the food. And so like sometimes in a pinch, we're wondering like, okay, what can we make? Or I'm out of something. Oh, go see if we have Thrive. So my husband loves hatched green chilies and he likes them in his eggs in the morning. And so we go through chilies lately. Like we're in, just like everybody, we have like little phases. We're like, oh, I'm really wanting the chilies. And so we've gone through chilies like a lot. And to think that they are really just available to us. There's so many products that Thrive gives us that are literally available to us. I actually love the green beans and asparagus. And I've been trying to reorder asparagus and I'm waiting for them to come back into stock because there's certain things that you just love, right? And you're just like, you gravitate like, I want more of this, want more of this. So I'm grateful that they give so much variety of choices. And then they also give some surprises sometimes where they like will have some cake bites or some fun treat that's maybe not all the time. So it's good to stock up on some fun things that you can always have in your pantry and always have those little fun treats. So I'm grateful for Thrive. I know that it's made a difference in my life and in my family's life. And I just think that it's good for everybody, for the prepper, for the one that is really worried about nutrition and good health and good food, for the high quality part of it, for the lightness, the convenience, the storage. It has it all, right? I love the fastness, the ease, that I'm not chopping onions and other vegetables, celery or whatever. I just have it ready and on hand. And I think Thrive is such a benefit for everybody, and it's great. I'm grateful for it.
Thank you, Colleen, so much. That was awesome. I appreciate that. And Cindy, we'll turn the time over to you.
Okay. I think I got the mute thing figured out. Okay, I am making Italian wedding soup. And I have to tell you just a little bit about why I decided to do this. Years ago, I had always heard about Italian wedding soup, but I didn't really know what it was. And I knew there were little sausage meatball things in it, and it just sounded very complicated. And then one night, about maybe 10 o'clock at night, I was talking to a friend, and she said that her family liked Italian wedding soup and that she made it frequently. And so I took the time to look up a recipe. And when I looked at the recipe, I thought, this is so easy to swap out for food that I have in my pantry. And Dan was working late that night, so I decided to try it. And I had it ready at 11 o'clock at night. I had this pot of soup ready, which was like ridiculous, but that's what you can do when your husband's working late. And so ever since then, it's been a favorite of mine, and it's very, very, very easy to put in a jar. It's so easy though that I often don't put it in a jar, but it would make a great meal in the jar. So I'm going to just turn, I'm going to turn this down and hopefully you'll be able to see my pot. Should I move it closer to me? How's that? Pretty good. Give me the thumbs up here, not that much I can see. Okay, all right. So I've got some water boiling already. Okay, before I do that, so let me just show you. So this is the sausage crumbles and they're in pretty big pieces. And so they require a little bit of refreshing. And I mean, to eat them, like while I was waiting here, I was just eating they're delicious. They're very delicious. The other thing I'm using is orzo. So just curious, of all the people who are listening right now, how many people even know what Italian wedding soup is, or have you tried it before? I can't see anything, but maybe Karen, you can tell me. Normally, it has orzo in it, and this is orzo. Orzo looks like rice, but it's not rice. It's pretend rice. It's actually pasta pretending to be rice, but it's very, very nice. If gluten was an issue for you, then just use rice. It's not authentically Italian, but then you aren't either, and neither am I. So you can use anything you want. So, and there is no reason why you cannot use other grains like barley. Barley would be beautiful in this. So just about 2 weeks ago, actually about a week and a half ago, I had my granddaughter over and we were making supper together and we made this. And it was great. There was only the two of us, so it lasted a long time, but it gave me the idea of that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. The problem was I made a big pot and we had a lot of leftovers. And so we were eating it like probably 3 or 4 times in the ever since I made it. But then I have a friend who just had a death in the family and I wanted to bring a meal in. Well, this was such an easy meal to make. So I made it again last night. And as I was making it last night, I thought, I'm making it again today. So that's a lot of Italian wedding soup in a very short amount of time. I sent a quart home with my daughter. And if you happen to live in my area, I would send a quart home with you. But for the last 2 that I made, I was using, so this pasta here, this is quinoa. This quinoa that's colored with vegetables. It is delicious and it adds really nice color, and you're only going to use a cup of it anyway. Or if you wanted to use something, this is just also a pasta, but a different kind of a pasta. Not the kind of pasta that's made out of red lentils. Not the kind of pasta that you're going to want to make mac and cheese out of, and that's just another vegetable pasta. But all of these things would be very, very suitable to have in an Italian wedding soup. It's just going to switch it up just a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to go back down. Now you got to tell me again so I can see my hand there. Okay, all right. So I have got some water boiling. I hope it doesn't heat up my camera like it did for you the other day, Karen. So I'm going to put in, I've got a cup here. I'm going to put in just under a cup of orzo, and I'm going to put in the sausage, and I've got 1 cup of sausage. And so those are going to both take about the same amount of time to cook. I'm going to just turn the heat up just a little bit. And I'll tell you what else I've got going here. So this is just water. There's no seasoning in that water at all because I have chicken bouillon here. So whether you're going to use broth or whether you want to use your bouillon, we love the bouillon. It's so, and if you're going to make a meal in a jar, then that is what you're going to have in the jar, not broth. So it is so good and so convenient. And what I've done is I just mixed it up with 2 cups of water, just shook it up to make sure I didn't have any lumps. I don't want to put in a couple of tablespoons into a big thing of boiling water and then have some lump in there that bothers me. So I'm going to just put that in a little bit toward the end. And then really that is the most important part. I have some dried peppers, red peppers and green peppers together. I really, really like the peppers. And I would use freeze-dried peppers, except that I know I'm going to be cooking the orzo and the sausage for a while, and I don't want to cook the guts out of freeze-dried anything. It is one of the things that I really like about freeze-dried food is that it really doesn't have to be cooked. All it has to do is just be plumped up a little bit. So, and also, I mean, it goes without saying that if I was to buy the sausage and make the little meatballs, I would not make this. I would never make this. I'm not going to go to that much trouble. So this really makes a big difference. And I never have any waste because I use exactly what I need. If I want a scoop, I use a scoop. If I want two, I use two. I don't have to thaw something and then not use it. And that's kind of a problem. I am also going to put in some onions. I've got half a cup of onions here. These are the chopped onions, freeze dried. And that's, if you have dehydrated onions, then go ahead and use those too. And if you have fresh onions, well, then go ahead and use that. It's just going to be a lot more work. And if you don't use all that onion, then you're going to put it in the fridge, and then who knows whether you're going to actually use it or not. Okay, so I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit, but I'll tell you what else I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. This is pesto. So right now we have no seasoning, and I'm not putting any salt in it because there's salt enough in the bouillon. This is pesto. So I make pesto. Every summer I make pesto. I've got some oil around it. You can see that. And then I just freeze it in small containers like this. And I get out, whenever I use the container up, then I just go get another container and I put it in the fridge so that I always have pesto to go. I love pesto. And really, if you're not familiar with pesto, it's mostly, well, it's garlic and it's greens. The basic is really basil, but a lot of the pesto I make is not even basil pesto anymore. So this one has got garlic and it's got Parmesan cheese, and I don't use pine nuts. I use almonds, raw almonds, and probably I put lemon juice in this, and then a lot of greens. This one has got nasturtium leaves and basil in it. So so I'll put some in now. I'm gonna use about half of what I got here. Actually, that's more than half, isn't it? And you're gonna just do that to taste. A little bit later, I'll taste it, and if I want to put in some more, I will. So Dan and I had this for supper last night. That's when I actually realized I was going to make it again today. And I told Dan, I'll give it away. Don't worry about it. And he said, no, actually, I'm going away this week and he's going to babysit my mom. So Mom, if you're on here listening, then now you know. So you're going to be having this for supper next week. All right. So one of the things that he said was he was kind of disappointed that I didn't put lemon in it last night. So let me just tell you, I am going to put lemon in this. So this here, this is actually just lime. When I have a lot of fresh limes, then I just put them all in the blender and make the juice. And I strain the juice, and the juice I freeze, but the pulp that's left over, I dehydrate. So that's what this is. So if I wanted to have some lime zest or some really strong lime flavor, I would use this. But Dan specifically asked for lemon, and I don't have that in lemon right now. So what I'm going to do is, if you're lucky enough to have some of this, we haven't had this for a while, and who knows when we're going to get it back in, but it is so wonderful. It is a lemon concentrate. Most of the lemon flavor is coming from the lemon oil in a base of non-GMO cane sugar. But for all intents and purposes, it is not sweetened. You'd never know. So I'm going to put in just over a tablespoon because we really like the flavor of lemon. And then I'll just give that a stir. Okay, so that sausage is going to plump up. That orzo is going to plump up. And I want this to be quite frothy. So I'm gonna put in another, this is almost 2 cups of the broth. Whoops, rats, look at that, I should have shaken it. All right, that's no problem. All right, and then I'm gonna actually turn the heat off. And I'm gonna have it sit here for a bit while Kathy's talking. And then the very end is spinach. And I'm not gonna put the spinach in right now because I don't want to cook the spinach too much. I want the spinach nice, bright green and fresh. And so I'm gonna just put it in just before it's done. Okay, I can bring this back up again. Just before it's done, I'll put the spinach in long enough to plump up. And then I will dish it up and show you at the end. So Karen, when you're, sorry, Kathy, when you're finished, then give me a minute. It'll probably be ready to put in the bowl and I'll show you what it looks like.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Cindy. That looks amazing.
You're very welcome.
Never tried that soup. And I've seen it times, but I'm like, I need to make that. And it just, I don't think about it when I actually go to do it. So I'm excited to see.
It's so easy and I guarantee you have everything in your house that you need to make it. Let me say one more thing about the spinach. If you know me at all, you know that I put spinach in anything I can possibly put spinach in. But one of the things there's a couple of things I love about the freeze-dried spinach, as opposed to the spinach I used to buy in the big bag, put it in the fridge. One, you never make it to the bottom of that bag before it's slimy. Yeah, I would play a game with myself every single week. I'd buy a big bag and every single week I would try to get to the bottom of the bag and sometimes I would win, but most of the time I didn't. This, I never, ever, ever throw out. Like it is, there's no waste. Every piece of spinach that's in that can, I use. And it just, so that's number one is the no waste thing. But the number two thing is the romance of fresh spinach was gone for me forever when I realized, when I learned that within 2 days, is it 2 days? It is, it's 2 days. 4 days, it's within 4 days. 4 days, 0 vitamin C left in any spinach that you buy from the grocery store. And that, I mean, I know for a fact, and you probably know for a fact that there's no way in the world the spinach you buy in your grocery store was picked within the last 96 hours. So that means 0 vitamin C and a lot less of the other vitamins too. So that was very disappointing to me. And so that's another reason that I use the freeze-dried spinach is that I know it's 95+% original food value, and I'm never going to waste it. So you couldn't get any better than that. Thank you. All right, I'll wait for you to give me the heads up about dishing it up.
So we like to focus and cook with specials every month. So that's why we picked the items that we did. I picked blueberries, kind of like what Karen did, but a few different things with the blueberries. Now, I can honestly say that we have more nutrients in our cans than the fresh produce you'd buy from the grocery store. And the reason why is because we pick our produce when it's perfectly ripe, which in turn has more color, flavor, and nutrition. Then it's flash frozen within a couple hours and freeze dried and put into our cans that then have a 25-year shelf life. Pretty awesome for that. Now we do have 2 different size cans, and this is the pantry size can. This is the family size can. So 3 pantry cans fit into 1 family size can. Sorry, I kind of jumped ahead there because really when you compare that, our freshness in these cans compared to the grocery store items are picked green so that it can last as it travels to the grocery store, losing nutrients every day. So when we have these cans, for example, blueberries, I wanted to focus on blueberries because I love them and I use them often, but blueberries are in the freeze-dried like this in our can, it's higher in fiber, which seems weird because it's just blueberries like regular blueberries, but we're higher in fiber, 47% more phytonutrients in our freeze-dried blueberries rather than fresh from the grocery store, because that phytonutrients happens in the final stages of ripening. It gives that deep color to your food. That is what's so important and so good for you. Also, 30% more calcium in our freeze-dried blueberries versus fresh. So that just makes me want to buy freeze-dried blueberries. Just that alone, I think it's pretty awesome. So we also have what's called Nutrilock. So this is our Nutrilock symbol, and it's on our cans. You'll see them. And what that means is we go through a 40-step process to ensure the highest quality, taste, and nutrition are in our food. So it's awesome. I also wanted to just mention we do have meals in a pouch like this, and just like what Jara and Rob showed, the meal in a jar that you can make as well. Or you could just have a ready-made like this. They're amazing. So I'll just show you the blueberries. So this is what the blueberries look like. If I tip it anymore, it'll dump on my computer. So they are amazing. They're easy to eat like this out of the can. But I will show you a few different ways that I use it. So I'll tilt my screen and show you a few things here. So you could see that. There's the blueberries. So my kids, they will take their regular cereal and sprinkle it onto their cereal. So it just jazzes up regular cereal. I also just made muffins. These are muffin tops. I love muffin tops because who likes to eat the whole muffin when you could eat all the top? That's the best part. So these are muffin tops with our blueberries, and these are lemon blueberry. So there's the blueberries in there. It works just like your regular blueberries. Now what I did is when I was soaking the blueberries, I strained them out, or else you have blue muffins. You can do that, and I've done that, but I strained the juice and I just kept the juice aside and I drink it just like that. It's so good and it's so full of flavor. It's all just blueberry juice. So I have the muffins, blueberry juice. I also want to show you, I also do blueberry cream cheese. So you know how you can buy cream cheese that has mixed vegetables in there, or strawberry cream cheese? At least they used to make that all the time. Well, all I did was take the blueberries, put it into my little zipper magic bullet. I just did a couple. Now we'll have recipes, but this one's just kind of to taste. So I'll just take the blueberry powder, dump it into the cream cheese, and just mix it together like this. So then you have blueberry cream cheese. Now with this same powder, you can add it to icing. You can add it to yogurt. You can do whatever. You can see how that flavor, that color is just changing, and then you get the gist of it. I'll just skip through, but this is blueberry cream cheese. You can do it with any fruit that you want. I also made Jello. So here's the Jello. I did it a little bit thicker. Now I took a package of lemon Jello. I'm kind of on a lemon blueberry kick right now. So I took a package of lemon Jello. If you don't like Jello mix, you don't have to. You could just do it with gelatin. And I mixed it, and here you go. Here is some blueberry Jello, and it is so good. You could do this with any flavor, but look at that. This is like tons of antioxidants in this, and it tastes so good. And it's all just starting with our blueberries. So, oh, sorry. There's so many different ways that you can use the blueberries. I just showed you a few, but you can experiment all you want. I throw them dry into a blender with ice and liquid, and you have a smoothie. You can, it's so versatile and quick and easy. So those are a few things that I like, and I like that we have nutrients in our cans, and you get nothing but quality in our cans as well. So I hope that you might give some of these things a try, and we'll turn the time over quickly to Cindy to show her finished product. And then we'll come back to me and we'll wrap some things up, okay?
Okay, well, that was good timing, because I just tested it and it's done. So if you could have supper ready that fast, I bet you if you had to take a meal out, you'd probably make this one too. It would be so fast, and you don't have to go out and get anything. Everything that you need is right here. So I'm going to just bring the camera down, and I'm going to go to the bottom so that I can get that orzo. A little bit more broth. And I am going to put some more spinach in just because I can. Okay, I'm not watching the camera. Am I actually moving this away from you or?
Good, Cindy. That looks awesome. It looks very green.
Okay. Yes, it is. Okay, one little nice touch. Woo, that's getting hot. I gotta put it down just a second. Okay, so freeze-dried Parmesan cheese. That is the best thing in the world. And I'm just gonna take a scoop and I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top just for garnish. Now I never refresh this cheese. If you let it sit here for just a minute, that heat and that moisture is going to be all you need to make that nice and refreshed. So that's it. Italian wedding soup ready in 15 minutes to go on the table.
Nice. Thank you, Cindy. That looks amazing. I loved all of the things that were made today. It looks so good. It's making me hungry. I just want to let you know that all of these things can come to anyone. It is that easy. And you might be like, okay, this is awesome food. Now we're just going to share quickly how you can get it. One, go back to the consultant or the person that invited you because they'll help you. But you can get it through our delivery service. Our delivery service is amazing. You get free shipping and wholesale pricing. There's options for that. When you spend $100 or more, you get the free shipping and you get the wholesale pricing. And it's basically an online grocery store that you could purchase what you want, when you want, and it ships directly to you. So it is that easy. Also, the next way is to be a consultant. Now, we have starter kits that are as low as $40. It's really that easy. If you want to just purchase from yourself or share a little here and there, being a consultant is a great way to be able to get free food and some commission as well. When I first started, I used the food, but I didn't want to go out and sell the food. I'm not a salesman, but I was using it all the time. And I was at a soccer game with my kids. Now, I always kept Thrive snacks with me because I didn't have to worry about them going moldy. And they were just sitting in my bag waiting for the kids because they're always hungry. They always want snacks. So I was at a soccer game with my kids. And my kids came and they wanted some snacks and then they'd run off and play with their friends. And then their friends would come with them and try this food. I mean, this was about almost 13, 14 years ago. So it was astronaut food. It was weird and new and different that the kids didn't really know what it was. So it was a treat for them, even though they were eating strawberries and yogurt. So their friends would come, snack on the food, run off and play. And then all of a sudden I had all these kids around me snacking on the fruit and yogurt. And then one of the moms came to me and she's like, what's drawing all this attention? Why do you have all these kids around you? And I was like, I showed her what it was I was giving the kids and she's like, this is amazing. I know so many people that would love this. And so she asked if I would do a party for her and I did. And that's kind of how I got started. So it is really as easy as just using the food. And if you have the opportunity to share the food, it just gives you that kickback so much more. So I love that part of being a consultant. So I told you we would share 5 reasons why Thrive will make your life better. So 1, it's convenient. It's quick and easy and you don't have to wash and chop or do any of that. It's so easy and fast. It's nutritious. You're getting more nutrients in our cans than the fresh from the grocery store. There's no waste, really. It stays on your pantry shelf until you're ready to use it. And an average grocery budget between 35 and 40% of an average grocery budget goes straight to the garbage. That's about $2,000 a year. That's a lot of money that you're saving when you're using Thrive. And the shelf life and being prepared, it gives you that peace of mind knowing that you have what you need sitting on your pantry shelf waiting for you to use it. And shelf life. And then make some money. If you want to make a little money at home, you could be a consultant and do that as well. So those are the 5 reasons why Thrive. Now, make sure to go back to the person that invited you here because they will help get you started and get this food for yourself to try.